Okay, so I feel like the Illuminati knows somebody rich or somebody that has power or the government keeps clearing my names with these rentals and stuff. And so that's just another thing I'm pondering. Like, I wouldn't wish that for anybody. I mean, like, of course I was gonna, like, ramble on about that for eons. Mm. I just had to get exposed in this 2026 Kia Niro HEV. So I went all the way to Salt Lake City, Utah, y'all, and came back. I feel like the Illuminati really sabotaged me, and I can't have this domino effect happening to me in these rentals, because it hasn't happened to me in a rental. And matter of fact, this car is like perfectly clean compared. I guess my car was just grass that needed to be vacuumed. And the year that was made, but no, I mean, like, this thing, me and Minnie, we pretty clean, and I'm kind of not wiping down if I'm gonna scratch something, which means I'm just being more careful about my cleanliness and saving a lot of gas using the hybrid EV thing, because all the way up to 52 miles per hour, 53, it can do EV. So, Minnie's right here. I think my phone started getting sabotaged in Laramie, Wyoming, Cheyenne, Rawlins, Wyoming. So if the camera's jumping a little, which I saw the playback, then Wicked Screech for me a plan. Meister. So I cleaned the car about an hour ago. I found out that this place that I'd be doing car washes at, whenever I have like a car that's mine, and I'm starting to get tired of worrying about hairline scratches because I really need a car wash or something. They have free vacuums. So we've been doing vacuuming, like, just every time I pass up that place. Just about. Maybe 3 times today already. Because I didn't want anything to build up. So I'm ahead of that already in this car. I just have like a ton of blankets where we do our laundry once a day. I like to shake the lint off and then put it in the washer dryer with the laundry sanitizer. Y'all, I used it on my genitals and I could have sworn I took a shower recently and I'm sore. It's just not funny. I don't even want to be playing games right now. Could be playing games in peace, making some money while I'm not making that on the road. And I just don't even want to lay down. I don't even want to play a game. I don't want to drive for DoorDash right now. I got this lovely hybrid 2026 Kia Niro HEV, and I think it works better than the normal hybrid, because if I'm going 70 and I'm getting a good coast in 1.2 seconds or something, it's gonna go 0 RPM and cut on the EV part, and it's seamless. Like, I don't need to wait a second for the engine to pick up. It's just seamless. I've just been keeping it clean and not having any hairline scratches anywhere. I'm not using any of the microfiber cloths twice. But if I use them twice in the same setting, I just shake the cloths off. I think there were just kind of some hairline scratches down here, maybe like already or not. And I think I noticed something up front on the right, just like not sure if that's how I got caught going down I-80 and changing my mind and sleeping in this rest area that I normally sleep in, but it seemed kind of steeper this time. I really could have just cut that more on the way in, but on the way out it was fine. I'm like, a bit upset that I just felt like the DoorDash requests were gonna be zilch so that I'd stay. So I couldn't risk it. I turned around in Salt Lake City in one piece with me and Minnie. I used the urinal at a Walmart, parked in the reserved parking, watched a cop post up to my back left. It was a parking garage underneath. I just went in like, am I gonna get some DoorDash requests? If it's good to stay here, I'd give them one by one by now. And so I had used the bathroom, didn't have to grab my phone while I was in the bathroom to accept a request. I just me and Minnie, we came out. She was under my hoodie as usual. I kind of walked the other way around back so that I could just pretend like I didn't already know they were there until then, because I just really think that they know why people aren't going west if they're homeless. So when I was sitting in my car playing with my phone, looking for a request, turning off the DoorDash, had my door open while I was playing with my phone so they could just see my car was just kind of the way a Tesla is. Plain and simple, clean. And I had backed out. A guy was like delivering like a Walmart order to curbside on the other side, and I noticed already, and he just, go ahead, it's cool. And so I eased out, but I went back east instead of west. So when I didn't want to sleep where I slept at in the video with like the army military like garages and stuff, I had parked there and I slept there plenty of times before in the one that I parked at off scene. But I noticed a semi truck was like parking there, and so like, I don't know if I had tinted windows or anything, but I kind of was like, no, I can't be letting that happen, because I think they're just like, they just don't understand. Like, they probably think that people's done like fatigue driving before, but like, I don't get caught up in that. And I was playing on my phone and stuff for those people to be carrying radiator guns with them. So while I was on Gore, they must have left. And then that was like the first time I ever slept anywhere anyone's ever seen me park at, or seen me at, literally. Like, had a little bit of problems going on in like Agala, Nebraska, but I repaired the flat by the time I got back to Wichita, because like I put one of those things from Walmart in it. But like, I wanted to find the hole, even though I could have did that with the coming out of me. Didn't know that was gonna keep that from staying in there when you reach that tool back out. So I was at that for a couple of hours, And that tool was only like $4, but the fix it flat was like 10. So like that's, to me, it was only good for airing up the tire, and it was only good for finding the leak. So I bought another one of those, and then I returned it back to Walmart like I don't need to find the hole anymore, and I would just be wasting the product because my rental already has a air pump in it with a, like, I guess a disposable solution that kind of like dries in the tire better than a fix-it flat can does. So I used that up already, and I've called Hertz since then, but I'm gonna call them again just to have them ready to replace that, because I think it's useful. It really just dried everything in the tire so that that piece would stay, and I've got one of those left to just use. So now we're here in Wichita, Kansas. We've been here for a couple of days. I've talked to my mom since then. I had to get me some of that 4th of July barbecue, but it ended up being ribs and rice and like a shrimp thing with some curry and steak and this chocolate cake. I don't think it was maraschino in there, but it was like a very good exotic chocolate cake with fruit in it. And I think I had brought 3 oranges with me. I decided that I was gonna get sabotaged if they knew that I'd reminisce on oranges. Like, must I take these hoes to class? Or should I leave it at that? So we doing good. I've tried to brush my teeth with the mouthwashes and not really have this sit by car all the time, but just gargle peroxide and warm salt water. I picked up on this body glowing mist from Dollar Tree. Face and body spray. Like, I just don't want my stuff ashy. Like, so I have the laundry sanitizer mixed up in a gallon jug, and it's really like just like fabric softener stuff. And I think it kind of gets the job done, because if you have any bacteria on you and you have something to kill the bacteria, it like attacks your skin with the bacteria. Like, I forget that I might not be using anything that would burn me, but when you find something that'll kill 99.9% bacteria, and it's no matter, what products you shouldn't be using on yourself, like, or your laundry, like, I would have used the aerosol can on the car and stuff, but I use it to clean everything from the roof to the floor to the seats to any of the fabrics. I don't really care about soap residue when it comes to like the fabric laundry sanitizer, because I think it's not the kind of residue that will make the seats not stay vivid, solid for a while. I think that it's worth it. Removing dust and preventing dust mites. I think vacuuming and doing that on the ground and having like a bristle vacuum that only for the ground and having a separate bristle vacuum for the seats would have been ideal for me. I used to use a product called Everest and they claim it had no residue in there, which the residue they claimed in hand sanitizers that it would just stick the bacteria right back onto your hand as soon as it disinfects it. So what's good, with that? So I'm over here. I bought these shades from like Evanston, Wyoming. They're not like the traditional triangle shades. I just feel like that's not me, but it's not like hurting me, and it's not like hurting many on what a Michael Jackson is. So we're like, I'm just putting out with this because it was a Dollar Tree. I would literally just work anywhere that gets me the ball rolling. But when you're trying to make it all the way out to Sacramento, I just usually have enough money to shoot on through. And so when I had got pulled over by a cop in Nebraska shooting up north towards Omaha, because I-35 turns into the like lower speed limit highways, and I just be weaving through there. I try to skip Kearney and stuff. I think I end up going when I'm going north, I get up to Omaha. When I'm going south, I kind of just I get to Salina. When I get to Salina, and from I-35, if I got money or not, I'll go on down south. But everybody I talk to, if I end up talking to them and they talk about my dog or something, I think like me just trying to get gas and getting out in and out of town, to me is just makes me a little distraught that I'll stay somewhere for a lot longer. I would have stayed in Laramie a little bit longer now that I thought to myself that Laramie was idiosyncrasy for all in your head, because the Dodge Ram has a version called Laramie. And so I was just thinking, like, if I went too far north into Laramie, would they have done to me what ended up being done to me in Wichita, here over by Pawnee? Because like, no amount of, like, car rentals and paying off my car is gonna get me back into another one. But now I have like two separate claims on two separate policies. And like, I don't trust anyone, you guys, but South Carolina State Farm says, do you have your bank account synced up and ready to accept your deposit? And because I won't need to grab the duplicate title and register a car that's no longer in service. So, but that's not what my Kansas policy said. So the whole time I was heading to Sacramento, I was trying to get a tow for my car. I left just like I got this rental. I've been through this for too long. That car's just a dud. It don't matter where it goes, as if it's just as long as it's not gonna start leaking radiator fluid near that area. I mean, they serve things like Italian crepe soda and Picasso's pizza over there. So my deposit came up a month after my last deposit came up when I bought a car battery for that Nissan Sentra. I was contemplating taking it back to Tractor Plus because it was just not only nigga rich of me, it was kind of like, wherever that goes, they could kind of test it, see what could have caused what to happen to me. No matter what, there's just information, a piece of information and everything. So when I take things back, I'm like hoping like it's either just off my chest and already been solved, or like, you know, they could just hold on to it, give me my refund. But yeah, it's been a little while. It's been over 30 days, which is a lot of time to bring back something like that, because I had also bought like a car battery jumper, and a good one too, but it was like $160. I took that back in Cheyenne, Wyoming, from a location that I bought it from in Kansas. And the reason why is there's a couple of reasons. They didn't come charged. So I was like, if they do put it back on the shelf, it's gonna make somebody's day. I charged it all the way up to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Secondly, it wasn't a Type C, so I was gonna be charging it behind the wheel a little bit longer than I wanted to. And third of all, those things are powerful enough to fry a dog, so I didn't want to get robbed for them to clamp it on to my miniature Doberman Pinscher. And I believe that stuff happens, and best believe I was over here in a blow up tent with a tent stove. And when me and Minnie were sleeping, we really heard a dog squealing in a car driving in circles around like George Washington, Pawnee, Oliver. I really heard that. Whether it was a Range Rover or them torturing a dog or them getting the mixing and mastering right on playing it back on a car stereo. There was a dog that just sounded like it was squealing, like the Saw 3 movies where they were digging for some keys while somebody was getting stuck in one of those like stove contraptions, but they didn't make it, and I and I think it's some sort of hot needle effect when temperatures get that high and you ain't already incinerated and stuff. So that's what I think the dog was squealing like. So me and Minnie, we didn't want to look. I didn't want to look. I can't speak for my dog. I didn't want to get blinded by something that would have made me look. So I'm just thinking we didn't leave Wichita before that. And I think shortly after I have finally hopped into a Nissan Sentra, and I liked the car, but the way I started off, I immediately went south to South Carolina, southeast, whatever, and I was gonna get the EcoFlow Wave 3, so I wouldn't need like EVs or hybrids. I would just get to where I'm going and use that in solar panels and power generators. And as long as you keeping everything on the inside cold, I think you'll never really have to worry about, like, does that ever happens when a lot of heat is surrounding power generators, electric power generators, like. So I like the whole hybrid thing, kind of, but I don't, because I feel like I don't want to ruin the engine. I don't want it to ruin on my watch. So I don't remember if the car was very quiet when I was parked when the car is on, but I know that when I'm driving and it cuts on and off, I can't tell. I can't tell in the pedal. I can't tell. And it just started itself right now. But one thing I learned is that the AC was already kind of loud. So the cars have their own check engine lights, and I don't think you can reset them. I really think that it measures it. But I spoke with Hertz and they told me that I don't have to do anything until the light comes on. So I was jumpy on that because I went to Salt Lake City, Utah, just to turn around because I didn't want to go all the way to Sacramento if it's not going to be the way it used to be for the homeless. Like, they got rid of the 99-cent stores. Like, how am I going to buy microfiber cloths? Not that I knew if they ever did or not. They don't have Dollar Generals over there. But the laundromats that I like to go to, they have free dryers. So you just go in there, have a small load, wash your clothes 2 times a day for like $2 or $3. And you've got your fabric sanitizer, which could be kind of like soap if you don't have your laundry detergent, but I usually have all that. And then it's just free to use the dryers, and if people want to pay on the other side, they can, but it's 30 minutes free or 15 minutes free, but you could just keep putting it back in there. You just gotta check. And so I like that. I think it was called like Love's Laundry. And it was just literally the gay club neighborhood. So I think I came back to Wichita to cancel my food stamps so I could get back to Sacramento and claim all my benefits there. I've claimed benefits in Hollywood, Social Security and everything. I've claimed benefits in South Carolina and everything. It's nothing new to me. It's nothing humiliating to me. Like, as you could see, there is just a dark force that wants to make me look incompetent. And it's mentally draining when it comes to expecting me to work when I don't have to. So I loved the 2017 Nissan Sentra because it was like my payments were $250 a month. My car insurance for rideshare policy was $160 a month. Like, if I'm making $1,000 a month off of Social Security, even when I'm marking myself homeless again, and I basically have more than half of my deposit left, which definitely would have been rent at my mom's house. But if she would have known that I would have gotten in a wreck eventually, and it wasn't even cool that I got in a fender bender that involved nobody else, like, I bet she would have let me stay. Like, they might have assumed that there's just some people in this world who only knew how to drive. And so I was putting all of this stuff on the internet, mentally drained and stuff. That's not what I meant. I meant that, how do you expect me to get a job as a surgeon? How do you expect me to go to college as a surgeon right now? Like, it should be easy breezy just to do Uber and Lyft. And it's just, to me, it's how much people want to control me. To me, it's not even about my dog being in the car. I used to do Lyft and Uber, and mind you, when my wreck happened, my mental health was like, like my car wasn't in the condition I wanted it to be in. So why would I drive for Lyft and Uber passengers when I don't want to get robbed anyway? So it was like the wreck, the fender bender without people occurred during a food delivery, Uber Eats. And the collision that I caused and didn't put a scratch on my car again, like barely, they scraped through the side and took the bumper off, but it was like a metal line, y'all. It wasn't any more than what the damage to the guardrail did to that Nissan Sentra. That was when I wasn't working for Uber or DoorDash or Lyft. I was just moving my car to the house that there was a house fire my mom had. And I was making a left, and the wheel didn't break off the axle or anything. It just slid. I stopped right in front of the curb, probably didn't even put a scratch on it. I know I took the tire to get the rim to get a new tire at Walmart, and I just barely vaguely like remembered that there was not a scratch on it yet. So like I just sometimes the idea is not to snitch how lucky I am, and sometimes the idea is to. But the payouts, I'm just curious. Like, one policy claim wants to pay $4,700, which is exactly what I owe, but my deductible was $1,000. And then when they didn't have car rental and $500 deductible for $387, I took my policy to South Carolina for $160 rideshare, $500 deductible, car rental, $160 a month for full coverage. Yeah, probably because how easy South Carolina is to drive. I've had genetic issues where the traffic made me feel like I was the one always in the way, but it's okay. I know one time when I was in that Equinox and I was driving through Illinois a lot. I was clocked in and I was taking this on ramp back west. And I told myself, like, if I get a request, I'll turn around. But on the ramp, two semi trucks were coming past. I had to stop. On the ramp, like California has traffic lights letting one car go or two at a time. And like one or two cars at a time, two lights on the on ramp. So there was a semi truck behind me, and I didn't panic or anything. I felt like if I started panicking or something, then it was probably time for my day to come. But I didn't, and next thing I knew, they honked and they were past me because I had to let them over. Like the way I was at the very end of the ramp and the way the semi truck, and the way I couldn't pick up speed and how much space the semi truck had. Like, I got a Lyft request or an Uber request, and it was like a really hot redhead guy in crutches that went to the store to buy a ton of steak, y'all. And I would have used my resources. I would have felt like I have the privileges, the right to ask people that this is what I want to do. Maybe this is where I want to live. And it's just fun to show people you like them a lot more than they would have imagined. So I didn't really say anything, but I knew why a lady across the street had her dog too. It was kind of like a mimic thing between me and my dog and her and hers. And I didn't know if that was gonna like steal mine or anything, so that made me hesitate. But that could have been how I'd never leave Illinois one way or another. But like I'm saying, like Champaign, Illinois is a pretty decent place. Like even in my Nissan Sentra when I kept trying to find me a new tire. I drove all the way from Birmingham to West Plains, Missouri before I found me tires in stock. So yeah, when I make my moves, I wasn't gonna break off that radiator cool, that transmission fluid cap off that Nissan. And y'all, I was so defeated with that car that I had the gloves and everything on, and I just threw all that container that was supposed to catch the fluid from the coolant reservoir. I just put everything in that trunk. Like that car's just done. Like it's amazing for me to drive around the US in these car rentals thinking that things are really just only worth making you comfortable, even if you put some wear and tear on it. And it not only never affected my relationship with Hertz, it cleared my debt and got me into another rental. And I just tried, I just was like, whether or not that was my last option, I would just try. And somebody of power is paying off my debt, clearing my record, or somebody rich is paying off my debt and clearing my record. And that would be some of the reasons why I think that I caused a collision in the Nissan Sentra, where my life was more in control with my car payments and my tinted windows and the way I saved gas in it. And I think that I could have put a South Carolina tag on it when I was up there trying to do it. I needed proof of paying taxes, and it was in fine print on the form that I gave them. But when I was already back out of South Carolina, I found a better proof. And by then it was like I just had already set sail. So by the time I knew it, my temp tag was expired, because by the time I got the title with the lien hold on it, I shredded it up on my way to Kelly like I don't need it, because I found the property taxes information. And so that was a different story in Cali, and then that sent me back to Wichita. And yes, these idiosyncrasies really helped me solve this mystery, because I think of Sacramento as like our wish is not to sacrifice anything. And I came back from the sacrifice direction when I caused a whiplash collision with two other people, and with my luck, a tow truck in somebody else's car. But I was coming from the east when it was just a fender bender, the front right and the back, and my tires were straight, so I didn't bend the wheel off the axle or anything. So all of a sudden, these collisions seem like they're a piece of cake. Like, no, I don't want to be in a collision at all. Like, y'all, I swear I didn't even hear the clash of them. I was worried about myself, and I saw the the crunch top coming through my car, but they didn't even break the side mirror. It was just one or two extra metal lines in the car, and then they must have plucked up the bumper from the back, and it must have made their tire go left. And I was aware that there were two cars behind me, catching up to me a little too fast, but I wasn't sure what kind. And I turned around, and I had to go look. I crossed the street to go look, but I wasn't like all up in his grill. I should have, like, are you okay? Like, I'm not really afraid of soul swapping or anything, but if I could redo that time, and we all would rather the wreck not happen, but if he was okay like it turned out, and that's like an insurance payout, and they could probably grab them a used BMW now, because I'm not gonna go buy that BMW. $4,900 station wagon. Nah, I don't know, because those are like high maintenance cars. Like, I accidentally put German engineer oil on my car one time in Champaign, Illinois, where I've gotten over 100 oil changes. It was like my hood between Sacramento and South Carolina. And I just had to park back over there and get a real oil change that night. But remember, if you're going 30 miles an hour and somebody's going 30 miles an hour, that's like a 60-mile-an-hour clash. It's not really gonna seem like 30. And so when I had a Chevy Cruze, I had a spare tire on, came back from San Francisco to Sacramento, and I was driving along the highway. I think 6th and V might have been where that happened. This car pulled out in front of me, and so that was like this kind of ding up against their side. That took my wheel off the axle, but that wasn't the wheels wouldn't turn that time. So I just don't want to go back to Sacramento to lose all my cars there, and then And then this wreck, I was done with the East Coast after that fender bender and by Nashville, because I wasn't afraid to work in Nashville. I wasn't afraid of anything. I still wanted to try that macchiato. It was a strawberry macchiato, and they have skincare products in these coffee beverages. I delivered one. Like, I gotta go there and give me that sometime. And I wasn't gonna do it that time. I was gonna drive. So I think it was to keep me in Nashville, y'all. Like, I guess I turned it into my own nightmare. But I was under the impression that I knew I wasn't gonna sit in a Range Rover ever prior to that raining and stuff. So I could have known that I'm a white people, black people problem. I think I'm a Hollywood problem. I think I'm a Sacramento problem. I think that people don't understand that you don't have to be humiliated to do whatever you got to do in Hollywood, and I think I wasn't so bad. Let's see. Peeing down storm drains. Brushing my teeth down storm drains. Eating McDonald's is most likely a no-no. Just getting by on gas and food and, hygiene and trying to stay there. I just, like, sleeping in my car was okay and everything. Like, I wanted to go back in an EV, like a Tesla, true, yo. Now the idea is not to look at an H. So, after I cleaned my balls and my body and had a little bit of the fabric sanitizer on there, I sprayed this body mist. And, like, the problem is going away. So, me and Minnie, I might as well have said Minnie and me. We're chilling, we're brushing our teeth, we're getting clean, we're staying cold, we're barely keeping gas in our car. I mean, we're keeping the car on full. I mean, we're like barely like saving up. I think the Illuminati is gonna like try to prevent me from getting like my car overweight, and I think the idea was to like not be here so that my payouts wouldn't get robbed. Like, I've tried living here. Like, it's not gonna work out. Like, yeah, I was already on my way to Sacramento with barely any gas and how many times I've done that for years and a decade, and a flat tire ain't so bad. It was never in the middle of nowhere, though. Like, never. I mean, all you gotta do is have, like, caution. Like in Ogalla, Nebraska, I was delivering to these trailer homes. And I'm an overachiever. Like, just because I follow the GPS doesn't mean I'm being lazy, okay? And so that little unpaved dirt road in between them put a skinny nail. But I was up again. It's just I saw a lady in her metallic blue Velar while I was at the Walmart in the reserved parking. And I got my car like, it's not finna shell shock me. They're not finna be made to run my head over. I got in my car, eased out, went back to McDonald's to do my stuff. Next thing I know, she flies around the corner, but with a guy in her car. And they park against the parking stalls to throw something away, and she had a big dent on her car. And I'm like, bitch, it's mimicking me, girl. What it is the what is it? Who is the assassin? Who is the slick? Who is the sneak diss over here? Because the guy got out to throw some trash, just sat back down. Like, did he like really rob her Range Rover? But like, was that why my tire had gotten like that? But yeah, that's all in the past, y'all. We here in Wichita, Kansas, now I know they wanted the idiosyncrasies to be like Nebraska, saying that I'm never gonna be born with natural breasts. They're trying to earn their screaming orgasms by jacking boys off of the electric chair on 4 wheels, y'all. So whenever one of those idiosyncrasies gets in my video and they don't belong in my video and they're robbing my video, and now that's a molest for them to be in my video with all that, I bet you they wouldn't snitch with a Range Rover would. How about that? Okay. I bet they ain't piecing that shit together, or George Bush wouldn't have peed down a bush afraid electricity would swim up our pee streams, okay? On peace, okay? Like, just look at how the Illuminati glances at a silver Mercedes. Because I'm nothing but what a silver Josh does. I'm a silver snitch. J-O shush. I'm just a snitch. Like, they're debating whether being a snitch is just as bad as the terrorists that are doing it with their own 2 hands. So I could probably take my gas and get gone right now. Plus, my tire's been professionally patched up. I don't want to do Kansas City, Missouri. I have to weave around Severy, Kansas. I have to weave around Nashville. I want to weave around Little Rock, Arkansas, which means I'd have to go through Pocahontas. I'm not afraid of them anymore. I know when I was in a Chevy Bolt EUV and I was getting car charges for $1, I was gonna sleep there. I was walking Minnie, and I was kind of in front of somebody's house, and they opened the door and just stared, but it was kind of like a young, active guy that looked like Tim Dobbs. And he closed the door. I went back to the Chevy Bolt, got ready to sleep, and then I just got back up like, hell no. And so I unplugged the charger and I took off. And as I took off, there were ambulances and fire trucks coming around the corner. And I just always assumed that it's when they think somebody ran out of charge or gas, and they can't scoot out of there when their victim's seen too much. But yeah, like, I think I've been afraid of going to Pocahontas, Arkansas since then. I remember sleeping around the area plenty times. I remember pulling over to the side of the road plenty of times. And even in the Nissan Sentra. Yeah, I could go around. Arkansas, though, I wanted to avoid Arkansas because it means the idiosyncrasy is assault rifle Kansas. Arkansas. So I was telling Arkansas that, like, do you guys know that or not? It means assault rifle Kansas, which is kind of how witch brew evidence, hooligan, earth muscle memory, manipulating, flow chart, wicked, straightforward these people are being. Like every other, it's like everyone's got one person to fight over me. I had a premonition about that, about not going through the canyons in Colorado. Now I'm aware of 2 canyons, Iowa City and the one near Vail, Colorado, but in between Grand Junction and Denver. Oh. Ooh, learn something new every day. Look. Take the parking brake off. Parking lights on. Bang. Yeah, but I'm fussing with the Android Auto just now, though. Like, whatever, clever. This is what I normally do when I'm feeling sick. So I think 3 things affected me yesterday. Stop. Get over here. uh. My anal started bleeding again, and I think it was lack of water. And what I witnessed last night, I think I really witnessed a semi truck with police lights on it, and a police car behind them, but the semi truck had like those blinding LED lights, the one in the middle. And so I covered myself up and drove past and reported it to online real fast. It's like by mile marker 113, but a couple markers back, and headed northbound. It's like I hope they weren't trying to BLIND. A cop, I had done some research, and semi trucks don't do that. They don't have police lights on them. It was very lonely on that highway. And so when my butt started bleeding, I think it was just something agitating for the Illuminati to get my DNA to see who witnessed that. So I was up till 5 in the morning pooping blood, just getting all that was. I was just pooping. Like I wasn't just gonna poop endless blood or anything, but I had to keep myself clean. I used the laundry sanitizer soap and just I got rid of all the extra clothes I had to do all that. So while I was using the bathroom, I'd take my pants off. Because I was in the fields in the middle of nowhere. And so this is a major flaw for me because I try not to have to use the bathroom out there. So I got a headache. And when I cleaned like my balls with the fabric laundry sanitizer, it like burnt my balls all night. So you know when you have sensitive skin and there may have been bacteria on it, and you find something that kills the bacteria, it will burn you. So I couldn't waste water to rinse it out because we had drinking water or more of the solution of the laundry sanitizer. And plus that microfiber cloth I have bought at Dollar General, and they're getting more expensive in a tailored way. They're like $1 for one microfiber cloth instead of 2. So, story of my life. We came all the way back here to take a shower, and I was headed back anyway, I think. I think I turned around to sleep off road in the dark, and usually I'll scoot after I have to do something like that, because I don't want to like end up getting a flat or something when I wake up. But I was really gonna have to have, like, I have 4 or 5 blankets in the back seat, and then I put a hoodie I didn't want to wear underneath my butt. But I had blood running down my thighs and my legs, and I had to get rid of a shirt and a pants to clean that off, and that was hectic. Like, I think it was the sugar content in the soda. I finally had me a Starry, like it's like Sprite, but I think it has more of a hint of. I had Spangles. It costed me $18 to eat some Spangles. I ate a triple cheeseburger and large fries. The closest they had to Sprite. I try not to feed many fries anymore. Ooh. Get my kisses back. I need them. Oh. So, I didn't want to go all the way to Topeka to go to Kansas City, Missouri next. So, we kind of turned around because I really felt like I didn't want to get in another wreck. My tongue started getting dry a couple of miles out from back in Wichita, so I'm assuming I just need a ton of water and to take the flaxseed oil. It really helps. And then I just don't shop at Dollar General anymore. Get over here. Now get in here. It's a flat. Get over here and get a kiss like that. So, couple back. Something's up. That's the cleanest I've ever kept a car the way I want it. Like, even with the bloody stool thing, I had just enough cloths for clothes and a whole gallon of water mixed with the Clorox laundry sanitizer because I use it on the seats and I want to use it to douse the, I'm not sure if you use that word for like non flammable liquids, but like I was vacuuming the car all day long every time I passed up the free vacuums, and so I could prepare to do that. Just because they don't put floor mats in them. So the Android Auto on the 2026 Kia Niro HEV isn't letting me, so I'll switch the DoorDash app back to the in-app navigation because I was just complaining about the separate windows and apps that it takes to deliver DoorDash if you're like using the external Google Maps. But you just don't run out of gas to get gas. So I was down to 8 miles and I pulled that off. I just waited and waited because, like, I'll tiptoe to big towns so I can keep busy, but I haven't forgot how everything works. Like, no, you can't expect people to eat McDonald's early in the morning. But they are putting like more gourmet food stuff. Like, it's just wicked cool toppings now. So today I spoke to State Farm. I wanted to call United Healthcare. I cashed out $2.25 from the Money Time app to add $3.32 to the HEV. And then I used the hybrid to scoot from Flying J to like McDonald's. But Taco Bell, because that was the hot zones, and I just stayed parked right there, and then next thing I knew I got an order across the street for McDonald's. Then it was like I looked left, nobody there. I looked left while I'm scooting across, and a car wasn't close to hitting me, but that was still like wow, like Most people, they'll quit driving as soon as they notice that, like they're supposed to. Me, I think the problem is hit the highway, Jack.